Okay, so in chapter 25 of Genesis, Abraham marries some more people. An important one is Keturah here. I did that again. Is Keturah because Keturah has a son named Midian, and the Midianites will be important to us later because Moses will get his priesthood from the Midianites, and so clearly the priesthood can go through these other wives, at least some of them, and the covenant goes through them as well. At least most of the covenant does. The part that seems to not go through is the promised land part. But in any case, that's an important one. So he is marries other wives and has children, and then when he dies, he's buried in the cave of Machpelah in Hebron. You remember Hebron, down to kind of the midpoint of their journey. In fact, I'll get a map of that. Okay, here's a map where Hebron is. This is this area he frequents a lot. And this is the mosque built there at Hebron, where they believe the bodies are still buried. I'm sure they're still buried somewhere around there. I don't know why not here, but somewhere around there, the bodies of Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, and Sarah, and so on. So that's the traditional site for there. Eventually, Rebekah has two children, Jacob and Esau, who struggle in the womb, and they're born at the same time, and well, as twins, obviously, and one right before the other. And there's some interesting foreshadowings in there that we can talk about in class. And Esau is older, but she knows Jacob will have the birthright, and sure enough, Esau sells the birthright for a mess of pottage. We can talk about that at some point. And then the covenant in chapter 26, Isaac has the covenant renewed with him. It's clearly the Abrahamic covenant, the same one, and they are very sorry that Esau marries someone through whom the covenant cannot go. Now, I just thought I'd show you here in my book for chapter 26. I knew I had a picture of one of the wells around Beersheba somewhere, and this is where it is here in my book. You can see it, and that's just one well among many that are out in the area where Abraham and Isaac would have lived. Isaac, I have this in here because Isaac becomes so powerful. Rebekah's also beautiful. After all, she's related to Sarah and Abraham, but just runs in the family, and so Abimelech wants to marry her, and then he figures out she's married to Isaac, and so on and so on. But Isaac becomes so powerful that there's strife between him and Abimelech, and so he has to go his own way, and he's digging wells. And this is the area around where he and Abraham dug wells, so this may be one of the wells. In fact, Beersheba literally means 7 wells. It's named after where Abraham and Isaac both, they dug these wells as a sign of the covenant. Sheva means both 7 and covenant. So this may be one of those wells. In any case, that is chapter 26. Now, in chapter 27, we have the interesting story of Jacob getting a blessing from Isaac that we can talk about in class. Very interesting stuff, or maybe you don't have questions about it. We don't have to talk about it. And then Jacob is told he needs to marry someone through whom the covenant can go. And so he is going to run up to Haran again to find someone there that he can marry. So if we look at the route, he's going to go up, and one of the first places he'll go is to Bethel, as he's working his way all the way up here, the same route that Abraham went a number of times. He's going to go to Bethel, and in Bethel he will build an altar. So you remember these various altars we see the patriarchs building. One of them is built by Abraham in Bethel. That's because he has the amazing vision there. So this is taken from near Jerusalem, but with a super telephoto lens. But this is Bethel here. So it's in this area where Jacob has this amazing, amazing vision. And then he's going to go all the way up there. So this 600 miles or so that we've talked about, where he'll go around like this and up to Haran. And there he will meet Rachel, which begins another amazing story.